Okay, I issued a challenge to Bicycle Thief. Bicycle Thief is someone who made a comment on one of my videos, and he accepted my challenge. So I'm going to start out with e4. He is, as you can see, quite a bit higher rated than me, but well, we'll see what happens. I always play the game and not the opponent. If I'm playing someone higher rated, you know, sometimes I'll try to play more solid and avoid the trickiest lines. But like here, I'll probably go with the Ruy Lopez rather than the bishop c4 lines that I play a lot of times against other players. But the Ruy is a solid way to play. Okay, so he played d6. This is the Steinitz defense. And what can I play here? Probably d4 is a move, because his knight is pinned, and this pawn is not yet hanging. I could ignore all that and castle. I'm not going to play that safe. I think you should play a real game, you know, get out there. Okay, so now is this pawn hanging? That's the question. Pawn takes, knight takes, knight takes. I can grab the bishop and then grab the knight. So I think I can castle here, is that right? Pawn takes, knight takes, knight takes. Bishop takes with check, he takes back, and then I grab the bishop, I guess. Let's
Server announcement.
Let's see. Okay, so he just develops. Let's see, if I push the pawn forward, it just exchanges light squared bishops. You know, maybe that's good, actually. That's his good bishop in this structure.
Check.
So let's just take it out and get a little more space. And then how is he going to develop here? We'll see. So I just built a strong center. And you know, a lot of times black will fianchetto in these kind of setups. Maybe play f5 and try and expand on the king side. We'll see. What other ideas? Yeah, maneuvering the knights. That's probably the other idea. There's a lot of good squares for his knights on f4, c5. Okay, so I don't have the light squared bishop anymore. So I don't know. I mean, one idea is to play g3 here to keep his knight out of these squares. But it leaves holes here. So I think I should just continue with development. See where he goes. He can place the knight on f4 and he can bring his queen out down, but he's not doing that because he's placed his bishop in front of the queen, so he's going to do something else. Maybe just castle. Very quiet setup for black, so probably going for counterplay later. Gaining space on the queen side. So this maybe is securing a spot on c4 for c5. Spot on c5 for his knight, so I can't kick it with b4. Okay, let's get my queen. That was actually a typo. I meant to play queen d2. A mouse slip, not a typo. There's nothing horrible about it, except well, knight to knight c4 comes with a tempo against the queen. I didn't really need to give him a free tempo. Okay, let's try expansion on the queen side. But you know, the queen on d3 doesn't make a lot of sense really. I'm probably going to move it back to d2 at some point. So I'm going to continue with b4 here. Pawn takes, and just leave the rooks facing each other. Yeah, so I can play b4 now. If he does not prevent it. But of course, knight to c5 would force me to move my queen, I guess. I don't really want to play bishop takes knight on c5. Although maybe there's some point to that. So is there some point? There is a point to b4, which is it's gaining some space over here. And where else? How can I play going forward? You know, maneuvering my knight to the f5 square maybe is a good idea over here on this side. But not easy to accomplish. Knight to h4 is out. A lot of times I'll bring the other knight over, knight to... okay, he's not taking. Yeah, maybe I'll start this now. Knight to e2 to g3 to f5 is the plan for the knight. I could have taken his bishop with my knight. I should have thought about that. It would have been knight takes bishop, pawn takes, because his queen I can't take, obviously, with the bishop still on it. And then it's kind of an interesting structure, although he would have a serious grip on the f4 square. So maybe what he was playing for. Let's see, if I drop my queen down to d2, I could actually be threatening to take the bishop. Let's see, if I was wondering, maybe he was setting up this knight to f4 idea. I was just about to mention that. Okay, so I need to move the queen or take the knight. And if I take it, bishop takes, pawn takes, it will leave me with a backwards d pawn, and it will leave him with an advanced f pawn. So I don't especially want to take. Am I going to get destroyed here though if I don't take here? That's the other thing. So anyway, my queen belongs on d2 anyway, and I don't think there's some crazy sacrificial attack here. Knight takes, king takes. This knight is loose, but he's not on it right now. Maybe queen f6 would threaten knight takes. Not really, because my king would come forward and support the knight. What else? Knight to h3 check to open things up here. It's a sacrificial idea a lot of times. He's not quite set up for that attack yet. Okay, and now I am threatening to take his knight, right? Knight takes, bishop takes, pawn takes, queen takes. And that would win a pawn, so even if my pawn is weak, I'm still a pawn up and I can give the pawn back. So he needs to do something with this knight. Yeah, queen f6 rather, defends the knight and maybe brings some threats here against my potential loose knight here. So can I play knight to g3 and just sort of ignore this for a moment? Knight to g3, he can still do some of these ideas. Oh yeah, so the knight h3 sacrifice is an idea right now, right? Knight h3, pawn takes, and then my knight's hanging. So should I take, well, let's see, if I take his bishop, he can take back with the queen and threaten immediate mate, but I've got a defense with knight g3. So I guess that's okay. And oh, he took back with a pawn rather than the queen. So that kind of gives him a real stronghold here on f4. That's kind of the thing I was trying to avoid. Can I play pawn to g3? Let's see, pawn to g3, knight to h3, king to g2, and then pawn to g4, holding on to his knight. That would be annoying. Okay, so I'm doing knight g3. I'm going to have to live with that knight for a while. That's the sad truth. Let's see. So how can he make progress here? Pushing pawns forward. Actually, probably g7, king g6. Pawn to g6, king to g7, and rook over here on the h-file is a way for black to make progress. And also, that would be an annoying move. If I played knight to f5, then he can play g6 with a tempo. Where's my knight going? From that square. Here, here, here. None of these look pleasant. It only has back. Okay, so I'm going to do something different. I'm going to play f3 with the idea of queen f2. Knight back to somewhere. Knight back out of the way. Yeah, so he went with g3. I need to reorganize my forces here a bit. And I'm hoping to have enough time to play... oh, no, that's even worse. This is still horrible. I can never play g3 because he always has this knight h3 idea. So I should try something else. Maybe pawn to h3? Yeah, he's just doing what I said. He's lifting his king up and bringing his rook over to the h-file. And the question is, what do I do about it? Oh my. Okay. h3, king h3, rook h1 maybe. And can he sacrifice here? Also, my queen, I've neglected the square d3 when I brought my queen over here, so he has knight d3 at some moment. It might be annoying. It doesn't... What does it do now? Right now it actually would win a pawn. Or would it? I guess I would come back over here and defend the pawn. So yeah, knight d3 right now doesn't do anything, but it's something. Could be troublemaking in the future. Troublesome. Okay, so king to h2. Is he going to double on the the a file? That's interesting. Yeah, he switched his attention to the a file. Okay, so if he takes, it's pinned, right? So I have to defend the rook or get it off that file. How about if I get the rook off the file? Maybe to the c file here. I'm set up for a push on the c file. If I have time, I guess I want to play knight to e2 and pawn to g3 and finally get this knight out of here. Oh, now that's a fork. Ah! I just said I need to watch out for knight d3. Knight d3 is a fork of the queen and the rook. Let's see. Let's see if Bicycle Thief plays that. He didn't play it. Moved his queen that way. Okay, I'm going to relocate my queen again. Yep. He went with the exchange. He can get a rook to the third rank here, second rank as well. Third rank he went. That's interesting. Hitting my bishop. And securing this square on d3 for his rook. Let's see. Can I can't play c5, right? It's covered by the knight and the queen. And I've got the rook and the bishop. So pawn here, pawn takes, pawn takes, pawn takes. Bishop takes, knight takes, rook takes, queen takes. Yeah, he comes out ahead. So, can I play this? It's an interesting strategy by black there. He did a lot of attacking moves, setting up a plan. That wins the bishop, right? The queen has nowhere to go to defend the bishop. Good tactic. Yeah, so bishop takes knight, rook takes queen, bishop takes queen is probably best here, right? I can't, unless I can move the queen somewhere to make a threat, but I'm not seeing it. There's no loose pieces, so this is 2 pieces for the queen, or rook and a piece for the queen, which is not good, but it's better than giving up a queen for nothing. Okay, let's see. Probably need to defend the bishop because the knight behind it needs defense as well. Then maybe knight to knight c3, possibly. Well, I got rid of his knight. That was annoying me. So what's the status? Yeah, he has. So this rook and knight match his rook and knight, and this rook and bishop against the queen. So material edge for black, about 1 point worth. So I want to chase his knight away if I can. Chase his rook away. And also get my pieces off this awkward configuration here. Maybe knight to knight to b5, looking at his b pawn might be interesting. And he defends it. Okay. Now let's see. If I go here, is there a push here? Is it possible? Push, pawn takes, pawn takes, pawn takes. Not yet. The one advantage of having 2 pieces for the queen is you actually can bring more force to bear on a single spot, but it takes longer. It takes some maneuvering to get there. Oh, I missed a point. Yeah, another tactical point there. The rook is pinning the pawn, so I can't take back with the pawn routinely there. Let's see, where can I go with the knight? Anywhere. Is there anywhere I can go with tempo? I go here with the rook. Rook takes, rook takes. He can attack my bishop with tempo. Okay, but he just took the rook, which is simpler solution, probably better. And then he advances the pawn, and I haven't got. Well, let's go after that pawn. Still, it did create kind of a weakness here. The knight again. There's no end to trouble here. Okay, we're getting down to the last minute here. Okay, pushed forward. Do I want my bishop on this diagonal? I guess. And let's see. He can't come with his queen to this square, but he can come to that square, yeah. The other problem is there's a danger of a pin here against the knight, I think. If his queen can't go to that square. So I was thinking, is there something here with the knight? A little bit tricky to find a square for the knight. Here, let's hit the queen. Now I just have to wonder about sacrifices. So knight takes knight takes d6, pawn takes, and I get the rook here with a check. But it's just a check, and then there's no follow through that I see. And he goes back to kind of defend back here. So where does my knight want to be? My knight wants to probably be in this square, right? Knight to c6. Although it's a little bit out of the way, but it's a place. And then bishop here could hit the pawn. And if there's a way to involve my rook somehow. Yeah, he's hitting the rook. Oh. Let's see, it's a little bit tricky, isn't it? If I go here, he can attack the rook and the bishop simultaneously with queen to e2. So I want to move the rook somewhere where it's not so easy to get a double attack. But actually, almost everywhere is a double attack, huh? Well, that's kind of amazing. Here, this queen e2 is also a double attack. Let's see, and I can't defend the rook, huh? Here the rook is defended, but then the queen goes after the bishop. I don't have a way of defending the bishop. And no square to move it to after queen e2 again. Is that true? Okay, well, I got to play a move. Let's see. Yeah, but I think after queen e2, there's no nowhere to go. Okay, he didn't play that. Let's see. Put the knight there. Of course, I'm still tied up here. That's the problem. Let's see. Knight's this way.
White forfeits on time.
Okay, I lost on time, but I was losing anyway. My pieces are all tangled. So, good game. I will upload this and do a postmortem. See you guys later.